Welcome to another episode of English Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Danny, and today we're going to explore a topic that's absolutely crucial in the modern workplace, but often overlooked: emotional intelligence, or EI for short. You might be wondering, what's emotional intelligence and why should I care about it? Well, buckle up, because by the end of this episode, you'll not only understand its importance, but also how you can harness it to skyrocket your professional life. First, let's demystify emotional intelligence. EI is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of others. In a nutshell, it's about being smart with feelings. Think of it as a superpower in your interpersonal toolkit. Why is this important, you ask? Imagine you're in a high-stress meeting and tensions are running high. The ability to stay calm, understand what's driving others' emotions, and respond appropriately can mean the difference between a successful resolution and an all-out workplace war. And now let's break down the components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. These might sound like buzzwords, but they are the gears that drive the EI engine. Self-awareness is about knowing your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. It's like having an emotional mirror. For instance, recognizing that you're feeling stressed before a big presentation allows you to manage those nerves and deliver a killer performance. Next up, self-regulation. This isn't about suppressing your emotions, but understanding and controlling them. Imagine you're frustrated with a colleague. Instead of snapping, you take a deep breath, reflect on why you're upset, and address the issue calmly. That's self-regulation in action. Motivation in EI is not just about meeting deadlines. It's an inner drive to pursue goals with energy and persistence, driven by passion, not just paycheck. Picture someone who works late not because they have to, but because they're genuinely excited about the project. That's the kind of motivation we're talking about. Empathy. Oh, empathy. It's the cornerstone of EI. It's about understanding others' emotions and perspectives. Think of a manager who can sense team burnout and take steps to address it. That's empathy at its finest. And last but not least, social skills. This is about managing relationships, building networks, and navigating social complexities. It's the difference between a leader who inspires and unites and one who dictates and divides. And now let's talk real life. Emotional intelligence isn't just a nice to have. It's a must-have. It affects how we manage behavior, navigate social complexities, and make personal decisions that achieve positive results. Ever had a boss who seemed to understand exactly what you needed? Or a colleague who always knew the right thing to say? That's EI in action. So why is EI particularly crucial in the workplace? In our fast-paced, ever-changing work environment, technical skills are important, but they're not enough. Companies are increasingly recognizing that employees with high EI are their real MVPs. They're the ones who can handle pressure without melting down, lead with compassion, and drive teams to success. Let's dive into some examples. Think of a time when you had to give tough feedback. With high EI, you can deliver it in a way that's constructive rather than crushing. Or consider conflict resolution. An emotionally intelligent approach can turn a potentially explosive situation into a collaborative problem-solving session. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a mind reader or a saint. EI is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. Start by being more self-aware. Reflect on your emotions and how they influence your actions. Practice empathy by really listening to others and trying to see things from their perspective. So here's your action point. Pick one area of emotional intelligence, be it empathy, self-regulation, or any other, and focus on improving it. Notice how it changes your interactions and the responses you get. It's a game changer, I promise. And now we're ready to move on to our next segment, Word Power. We'll be diving into the key words of today's topic, breaking them down and understanding how they can be powerfully used in your daily language. So don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Welcome back to English Plus Podcast. In our previous segment, we discussed emotional intelligence in the workplace. And now, it's time to focus on expanding our vocabulary through the key terms and phrases we encountered. Understanding these words not only enriches our language skills, but also deepens our comprehension of emotional intelligence. Let's begin with the term emotional intelligence itself. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. It's a multifaceted skill that encompasses various aspects of how we perceive and interact with the world. A critical component of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Self-awareness involves understanding one's own emotions, motivations, and effects on others. It's like having an internal mirror that reflects your emotional state, helping you understand how it shapes your thoughts and actions. Closely related to self-awareness is self-regulation. This term refers to the ability to control or adjust your emotions and responses in different situations. Self-regulation ensures that emotions don't overpower you but are managed effectively. Another cornerstone of emotional intelligence is motivation. In this context, motivation transcends basic desires or needs. It's an inner drive that propels you to pursue goals with passion and persistence, often beyond monetary or external rewards. Then there's empathy. Empathy in emotional intelligence is about the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's a step beyond sympathy, involving a deeper connection and comprehension of another's emotional state. We also have social skills. In the realm of emotional intelligence, social skills are about managing relationships, communicating effectively, and building networks. These skills are crucial for successfully navigating complex social environments, particularly in the workplace. Another term we touched on is interpersonal toolkit. While not a formal psychological term, it's a useful metaphor for the set of skills and abilities we use to interact with others, including all aspects of emotional intelligence. The phrase managing behavior is significant. It involves regulating your actions and responses in a way that aligns with your emotional understanding and goals. It's about being in control of your reactions rather than being impulsively driven by your emotions. Navigating social complexities is a phrase that encapsulates the challenges and intricacies of social interactions and relationships, especially in diverse and dynamic environments like the workplace. And lastly, personal decisions that achieve positive results refer to the choices we make, guided by our emotional intelligence that lead to beneficial outcomes both for ourselves and others around us. In our next segment, Action Time, we'll delve into the practical applications of these concepts. We'll explore how you can use your understanding of emotional intelligence, enhanced by these key terms, to make impactful changes in your professional and personal life. So stay tuned for some valuable action points and real-life applications of today's topic. And now we move to the most exciting part of our journey in understanding emotional intelligence, the real-life applications. It's time to take the concepts we've learned and see how they can be applied in our daily lives, both professionally and personally. Let's start with self-awareness. Imagine you're preparing for a challenging meeting at work. Before you step in, take a moment to acknowledge your feelings. Are you anxious, confident, or perhaps a bit of both? Recognizing these emotions allows you to approach the meeting with clarity and composure. A practical action point here would be to keep a daily journal. Reflect on your emotions and reactions to different situations. This simple act of writing can significantly enhance your self-awareness. Moving on to self-regulation. Think about a scenario where you're faced with a stressful situation at work. Perhaps a project is running behind schedule and tensions are high. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a deep breath and assess the situation calmly. Practice mindfulness or short meditation exercises to center yourself. This helps in not letting emotions cloud your judgment and ensures that your responses are thoughtful and constructive. Now consider motivation. It's a busy week and you're working on a project that doesn't excite you much. Here's where you tap into your intrinsic motivation. Remind yourself of the larger goals. Maybe it's professional growth or the satisfaction of completing challenging tasks. Setting small, achievable goals can reignite your enthusiasm and keep you motivated. Empathy plays a vital role in the workplace. Suppose a colleague is going through a tough time personally. Showing genuine concern and understanding can build stronger, more empathetic connections. Try to actively listen when they talk, offer support, and understand their perspective without judgment. This empathy not only aids in building trust, but also fosters a supportive work environment. Lastly, let's focus on social skills. These are particularly important in team settings. Imagine you're leading a team with diverse viewpoints. Effective communication and conflict resolution are key. Encourage open discussions, respect different opinions, and work towards collaborative solutions. You could even organize team-building activities to strengthen these skills. In summary, emotional intelligence is not just a concept, but a practical toolkit for navigating the complexities of professional and personal relationships. By enhancing self-awareness, practicing self-regulation, fostering motivation, showing empathy, and developing social skills, we can create a more fulfilling and harmonious life. As we conclude this segment, I'm excited to introduce our next segment, Frequently Asked Questions. We'll address the commonly asked questions about emotional intelligence. This is a great opportunity to clarify doubts, debunk myths, and deepen our understanding of this fascinating topic. So stay tuned and let's explore the FAQs together. Welcome to the Frequently Asked Questions segment of our English Plus podcast, where we delve deeper into the nuances of emotional intelligence, EI, in the workplace. We've explored the key aspects of EI, and now it's time to address those lingering questions you might have. One common question is, how do I measure my emotional intelligence? Well, unlike IQ, emotional intelligence isn't measured by a standard test. It's more about self-reflection and feedback from others. You can gauge your EI by how well you understand and handle your emotions and those of people around you. Seeking honest feedback from colleagues and friends about your emotional responses can be a valuable tool for self-assessment. Another question often asked is, can emotional intelligence be improved or is it innate? Well, the good news is that EI is not a fixed trait. It can certainly be developed and enhanced through practice. Activities like mindfulness, empathetic listening, and engaging in reflective practice can significantly boost your EI. And people also ponder, is emotional intelligence more important than IQ in the workplace? Well, while IQ is important for certain technical skills and knowledge, EI is crucial for working effectively with others and managing oneself in a professional setting. A high IQ can land you a job, but a high EI will help you navigate the complexities of workplace relationships and leadership roles. A common query is, how does emotional intelligence affect teamwork? EI plays a vital role in fostering effective teamwork. It involves understanding team dynamics, recognizing the emotional needs of team members, and communicating effectively. Teams with high EI tend to have better collaboration, less conflict, and more efficient problem-solving capabilities. And now to the next question. Can high emotional intelligence lead to better job performance? Well, yes, absolutely. Employees with high EI are generally better at handling stress, adapting to change, and resolving conflicts, all of which are essential for high performance in most jobs. And here's another question. What are some strategies to develop empathy in the workplace? Well, developing empathy involves actively listening to your colleagues, trying to understand their perspective, and being open to their feelings. It's about creating a space where they feel heard and valued. Simple acts like acknowledging their concerns and showing genuine interest in their well-being can go a long way. And here's another question. How does emotional intelligence contribute to leadership? Well, great leaders often have high EI. They are adept at understanding their own emotions and those of others, which helps them in motivating their team, managing conflicts, and making thoughtful decisions. They lead not just with their minds, but also with their hearts. And here's another question. Is emotional intelligence related to mental health? Well, yes, there's a connection. High EI can lead to better stress management, which is beneficial for mental health. Understanding and managing your emotions can prevent burnout and enhance overall well-being. And here's one more question. How can I practice emotional intelligence in a remote work environment? Well, practicing EI remotely involves being more attentive to the nuances of digital communication. It's about being empathetic to the challenges of remote work, ensuring clear and compassionate communication, and being perceptive to nonverbal cues during video calls. And finally, does culture influence emotional intelligence? Well, definitely. Cultural backgrounds can affect how emotions are expressed and perceived. Being culturally sensitive and aware is a crucial aspect of EI, especially in diverse workplaces. As we wrap up the segment, I hope these answers have shed light on some of the complexities surrounding emotional intelligence. But our journey doesn't end here. Up next is our Mythbuster segment, where we will tackle some common misconceptions and myths about emotional intelligence. We'll separate fact from fiction, so stay tuned for some eye-opening revelations. Welcome to the Mythbuster segment of our English Plus podcast, where we're going to unravel some common misconceptions about emotional intelligence, EI. It's a topic shrouded in myths, and today we're setting the record straight. Let's start with a prevalent myth. Emotional intelligence is just about being nice. Well, this is a common misunderstanding. EI is much more than being pleasant or agreeable. It's about understanding and managing your emotions, as well as recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. It involves a balance of empathy and assertiveness, not just perpetual niceness. Another myth that often surfaces is emotional intelligence is less important than intellectual ability. Well, in reality, EI is equally, if not more, important in many aspects of life, especially in the workplace. While intellectual ability is crucial for certain tasks, EI plays a key role in building relationships, managing stress, and maintaining a positive work environment. Many also believe that emotional intelligence is innate and cannot be learned. Well, this is far from the truth. Like any skill, EI can be developed and enhanced through practice and mindfulness. It involves continuous learning and self-improvement. A common misconception is that high emotional intelligence means you always agree with others. In fact, some with high EI can effectively navigate disagreements and conflict situations. It's about understanding perspectives and finding common ground, not necessarily agreeing with everyone. And there's the notion that emotional intelligence is irrelevant in certain professions. Well, this is not the case. Regardless of the profession, EI plays a critical role in managing interpersonal dynamics, leading teams, and navigating workplace challenges. And some people think that emotional intelligence is all about controlling your emotions. However, it's more about understanding and managing emotions rather than suppressing them. Recognizing and appropriately expressing emotions is a crucial aspect of EI. Another myth is people with high EI are always calm and never get upset. Well, this is a misunderstanding. Emotionally intelligent people do experience a range of emotions, including anger and frustration. The difference lies in how they handle and express these emotions. A frequent misconception is that emotional intelligence only matters for management or leadership roles. Well, EI is important at every level of an organization. It influences teamwork, customer interactions, and personal job satisfaction. And it's also believed that you can accurately measure your EI with an online test. Well, while online tests can offer some insight, they are not definitive measures of EI. True assessment involves introspection, feedback from others, and observing your interactions over time. And lastly, there's a myth that emotional intelligence doesn't change with age. While in reality, EI can evolve and mature as you gain more life and work experiences. It's a dynamic skill that grows with practice and time. Now, with these myths debunked, we hope you have a clearer understanding of what emotional intelligence truly entails. Up next, we're diving into our In Real Life segment, where we'll explore some real-life examples of emotional intelligence in action. These stories will bring to life the concepts we've discussed, showing how EI can be a game changer in various scenarios. Stay tuned for some compelling real-world insights. In our In Real Life segment today, we're going to explore how the principles of emotional intelligence, EI, manifest in everyday scenarios. By examining real-life examples, we can better understand how EI impacts our interactions and decision-making processes. Let's start with a story about Maya, a project manager in a tech company. Maya is known for her high EI, particularly her empathy and social skills. During a critical project phase, one of her team members, Alex, started showing signs of burnout. Maya noticed subtle changes in Alex's behavior. He was less engaged and seemed overwhelmed. Using her empathetic skills, Maya approached Alex privately to discuss his well-being. She listened attentively, showing genuine concern. Understanding his situation, she temporarily reassigned some of his workload to other team members and suggested resources for stress management. This act not only helped Alex recover, but also strengthened the team's morale and trust in Maya's leadership. Next, consider Sam, a customer service representative. Sam regularly deals with frustrated customers. His ability to regulate his emotions and remain calm during heated interactions is a statement to his EI. One particular incident involved a very irate customer who was upset over a service issue. Instead of responding defensively, Sam patiently listened, acknowledged the customer's frustrations, and empathetically worked towards a solution. His approach not only diffused the situation, but also converted the customer's negative experience into a positive one. Another example is from a school setting where a teacher, Mr. Johnson, used his EI to foster a supportive learning environment. He noticed that one of his students, Lily, seemed disengaged and isolated. Using his social skills and empathy, Mr. Johnson reached out to Lily to understand her challenges. He discovered that Lily was struggling with personal issues that affected her school performance. Mr. Johnson provided the support and resources she needed, and with time, Lily's engagement and performance improved significantly. In a different scenario, we meet Laura, a marketing executive known for her high self-awareness and motivation. Laura was tasked with leading a campaign that was outside her comfort zone. Recognizing her initial apprehension, she used her self-awareness to understand her emotions and channeled her motivation to see this as an opportunity for growth. She proactively sought feedback, embraced new learning, and successfully led the campaign, demonstrating how self-awareness and motivation can lead to personal and professional growth. And lastly, consider a small business owner, Raj, who exemplifies EI in conflict resolution. When two of his key employees had a disagreement that escalated, Raj stepped in. He used his emotional intelligence to navigate the conflict. He provided a space for each employee to express their viewpoints, acknowledge their emotions, and guided them towards a mutually acceptable solution. His ability to handle the situation not only resolved the conflict, but also prevented it from affecting the wider team. These examples from Maya, Sam, Mr. Johnson, Laura, and Raj show how EI can be applied in diverse real-life contexts. Whether it's in managing teams, dealing with customers, teaching students, personal growth, or resolving conflicts, emotional intelligence plays a pivotal role in guiding our actions and interactions. As we come to the close of today's episode on emotional intelligence in the workplace, I want to leave you with a powerful call to action. Remember, the journey of enhancing your emotional intelligence starts with you. Begin by practicing self-awareness, empathizing with those around you, and actively working on your interpersonal skills. Every small step you take can lead to significant positive changes in both your professional and personal life. So start today. Reflect on the stories and concepts we've discussed and think about how you can apply them in your own life. Your journey towards better emotional intelligence could start with something as simple as listening more attentively to a colleague, or taking a moment to reflect on your reactions in different situations. And now, a reminder of how you can support English Plus Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please follow the podcast and share it with your family and friends. Word of mouth is a powerful tool, and your recommendation can help the podcast reach more listeners who can benefit from our content. For those who want to take their support to the next level, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Your contributions are what make this podcast possible. They help us continue to bring quality content and explore more topics that matter to you. Your support on Patreon not only helps sustain the podcast, but also contributes to the growth of this learning community. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Your time, engagement, and eagerness to learn are greatly appreciated. We're here because of listeners like you, and we're committed to providing you with content that enriches, educates, and empowers. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Let your step today be towards enhancing your emotional intelligence.